The Birth of a Nation. It is directed and stars Nate Parker, and it is the controversial story of Nat Turner. He was a slave way back in the 1800s, and he became very fed up with slavery, so one day he decided to spark a rebellion against all the white folks and everybody else for slavery. And when I say controversy, yes, this is controversy at its finest. I was definitely looking forward to this movie, not only because it was given high praise at Sundance, but just looking at the trailer, it looked great. It looked like it could be a potential Oscar nominee. Wow, it just looked awesome, and I was so excited to see it. What did I get from The Birth of a Nation? Not saying most of the movie was boring, but the pacing in this movie from the very start was very, very slow, no doubt about it. I honestly began to look at my watch a couple times because the pacing in this movie was very slow from the start, and there's no denying that. If you look at other slavery movies from the past, like Django Unchained and 12 Years a Slave, there's a lot of emotion with those movies, but for this one, I honestly did not all that much care about our characters because of the pacing, I feel like. Really, if you look back at this movie, not all that much happened in the plot as a whole. It was more just very hollow and barren in the inside. This is a slavery movie, and the antagonists in the whole film, I feel like I was supposed to hate them, but I honestly did not hate them all that much as I really should have. I felt like the movie was trying to shove it down my throat, but not even close to as much hatred was shown for me in this movie as like Django Unchained. Like, it was not even close. And going back to the pacing, the entire first 3/4 of the movie is literally just a character doing a specific thing, such as the character is going to pick crops, or the character is now going to preach, or the character is talking to his wife. This is literally the movie from A to B. It keeps going A to B, but nothing really happens in between that. Yes, we have something happen like where a slave is badly wounded, but not much emotion was thrown into it, and not much hatred was coming out of my soul into that moment that made me care all that much. It just, the pacing was so off in the movie. I remember halfway through the movie, the lights suddenly went on in the theater, and that was annoying, and then about 40 minutes later they went off, and I was like, thank goodness. And then I looked over at my friend. That's The Birth of a Nation for you. There was a lot of weird symbolism in the movie as well. I never quite got that at all, so I don't know what the point of the symbolism was at all. I don't know if it's just me, but the symbolism was just completely out of left field. There are also a ton of times where certain characters' actions make absolutely no sense whatsoever. There's literally zero to no development for these characters and their actions. And of course, Nat Turner in the movie, there is a certain point we see the build up for his character and why he begins to start hating the people who are responsible for all the hatred that's coming from him. But there's a certain part in the film where I don't understand why he decides to start a rebellion. It became so weird, and it was also out of left field. I didn't understand. It literally, there was really no build-up for him at all in the whole movie. It didn't make any sense. It literally went from him being like, okay, I'm cool with you, Sam, Armie Hammer's character, and then all of a sudden, I hate you, I hate everybody, let's start a rebellion. Like, come on, really? You're not going to give us more development than that? Throughout the whole movie, it didn't make sense. Why they decided to make the pacing and all this, most of the plot points had to do with something not really important at all, when it should have focused on Nat Turner getting pissed and having more reasons for him to get pissed, but nope, we didn't have that. And also the controversy part, I don't think there's really a good guy in this whole movie. In fact, I pretty much disliked every single character because nobody was doing really anything good. Only Nat Turner's wife was practically the only good person in the whole movie if you look at it. Everyone else was basically somebody you just hate. And that's when you know a movie's not as great and probably will never be as good as anybody looks at it. I'm sorry if I hated on this movie. I just was so confused for some of the parts. This was definitely a whiff. But I will say the performances in this movie are great. There are so many great performances, and that's something that really kept up the movie for me for the most part. The movie is also very well filmed. There's a lot of great shots taken, and I also respected the filmmaking from Nate Parker. He did a great job in that aspect. Also, the ending was definitely entertaining. I didn't fall asleep like my friend. I actually stayed up the entire movie, and yeah, I did pay attention for the most part. I did kind of get bored after a while in a lot of parts, and the pacing was very slow. But I was definitely entertained near the end, and that is one thing that was nice, but the fact that they started the rebelling at the end of the movie, come on. You could have kept us a little bit more entertained throughout, but no, no, no. Guys, The Birth of a Nation is a disappointing movie. You don't have much character development for their actions. There's a lot of odd symbolism, and a lot of the movie is very slow. You don't get much character development for their actions at all, like I've said so many times. And overall, the movie was not nearly as good as it could have been. I'm sorry if I hated on this movie a lot. I do apologize for that. I honestly enjoyed it somewhat, but it just could have been so much better, and I was disappointed with The Birth of a Nation. I'm going to be somewhat generous to this one. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 and a 60%. I will actually go back and say that I was being generous with Suicide Squad 2, but I will say this one was not as entertaining as that one, so therefore it gets a worse grade. Guys, I'm going to see The Accountant on Friday, so look for that review on Saturday, and also next week, for the first time ever, I'll have more than me. I'll have a panel of my 3 friends and I, and we'll be discussing the upcoming NBA season, give our predictions, and who we think will win the Defensive Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, and see who the finals will be. So look forward to that video. I definitely am. It will come out next week. Thanks for watching as always, and have a fantastic day.